Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing, did Paul advise people to remain single in 1 Corinthians chapter 7? No, he didn't. Paul was just reflecting on his own celibacy in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. He wasn't trying to impose it on anyone else. He said in verse 7, "For I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man hath his proper gift of God, one after this manner, and another after that." 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 7. And that verse hints at what celibacy actually is. People don't just decide to be celibate. People are driven to be celibate by the Holy Spirit. It's like how Jesus was driven by the Holy Spirit to fast in Luke chapter 4, verses 1 to 3. And there's a detail there that shows how celibacy actually works. And in those days he did eat nothing, and when they were ended, he afterward hungered. Luke chapter 4, verse 2. As in, the Holy Spirit took away his need to eat, and he only got it back after the fasting was over. Celibacy is the same thing. The Holy Spirit takes away your libido, and you simply can't be tempted sexually, any more than you can be tempted to eat grass. And Paul wasn't so happy he was single because it prevented him from committing fornication, because he obviously wouldn't have committed it even if he did have libido. He explained how celibacy actually helped him in verses 32 to 33 of 1 Corinthians chapter 7. "But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife." Marriage comes with all sorts of challenges, issues, and drama. For example, Moses had to convert his foreign wife to an entirely different religion, one where every boy had to undergo genital surgery as an infant. For a foreigner, that would be very hard to swallow, and indeed, in Exodus chapter 4 verses 24 to 26, Zipporah did it very reluctantly to save her husband. Thus, by not having libido, Paul didn't have to go through things like that. The only person he had to worry about was himself, and so he could dedicate himself fully to the ministry. And so, if you want to be celibate, but you still have libido, well, you can't. You will eventually be tempted, and that's why St. Paul advised everyone who wasn't spiritually made celibate to marry. "But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn." 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 9. If you are struggling to keep yourself celibate, it defeats the point of celibacy, which is to not give yourself more things to worry about when serving in the ministry. That's why no church should force its priests to be single. It's like forcing people to fast like Jesus did. You'll just encourage them to eat under the table, and those who do go through it won't have any energy to preach. Plus, through marriage, you can either strengthen your own faith or spread it to your spouse and children, and that's a lot more helpful than just forcing yourself to not have intercourse. Encouraging people of different faiths to stay married, Paul said, "And the woman which hath a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy." 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 13 to 14. Why should a church keep their priests from doing that? And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. Did Paul advise people to remain single in 1 Corinthians chapter 7? No, because it was the Holy Spirit that made him single. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.